It's interesting to think about Jean and the influence that she has had on women in business, not only in this area, but in this country. Jean Thomas was one of the very first women to enter a field that had been totally dominated by men. She is an early role model for women, breaking barriers, breaking into arenas that women had not been before.
Trudy and Jean started their business in 1953 when women did not start a business. They were not the owners of business. In fact, at that point, they had to go by their first initials instead of their first names because women were not accepted in the business world.
We began this business the first year. I think Jean sold $80 worth of product to a little company, Mary Hospital in Chicago. At the end, she's very modest. I think her sales were up very near $50 million a year. She was a remarkable salesperson.
If you know Jean, you know that no is not an answer that fits well in her life. Jean will step back, develop another strategy, and try it again. And if she receives another no, she'll step back, develop another strategy, and try it again.
She's a businesswoman and an entrepreneur, and just a pride to our community and to the world.
You know, Jean is a doer, and that's what the great thing about Jean. If she says she's going to do something, she does it. If you give her an assignment, you don't have to worry about it. It gets done, and it gets done well. And that's really, I think, the thing that stands out in my mind about Jean.
I've always enjoyed being in business. I've always enjoyed, as I said, sales and marketing, because it's the opportunity to work with customers and let them know that they can trust you in business, that what you say is what you'll do when you give someone your word in business. To me, this is very important.
Her business sense of sort of the left brain side of philanthropy, if you will, is wonderful. She has a phrase that she uses all the time.
If you don't ask, you don't get. And that's another one of my mottos I kind of live by.
You know, one of the things I appreciate about Jean is her humility, and to have the gift of being able to combine personal humility with absolutely overt and unflinching support of Riverside in terms of encouraging folks to become part of the Samaritan Society. That's a tremendous gift. That's very important to us and important to our efforts.
Jean is really committed to the Kankakee community. When she retired, she could have moved anywhere in the world. She could live anywhere, more exotic places than Kankakee. But she chose to stay here in Kankakee, support the community, support Riverside Medical Center, support the organization she belongs to, and to give her time and talents and monies to this community.
Well, I've been very fortunate to be almost around the world, because I've been in China, Japan, almost every country in Europe. And I've enjoyed it very much, but finally I decided I wanted to come back to Kankakee and retire here. I worked in Elkhart, Indiana for probably 8 or 9 years. I worked in Naperville for several years, but I've always considered Kankakee my home.
I always felt a little guilty because I had the fun of knowing people in Kankakee, getting involved in things in Kankakee. And Jean never had that opportunity because she was never in here, in this town. So it's pleased me a great deal to see her get involved with Riverside, because I felt that was one place that she could really get herself involved and partly repay this community.
The motto I've kind of lived by for most of my life is to know what to do is wisdom, to know how to do it is skill, but to do it as it should be done is service. And I like to think that service is love with its working clothes on.
As I sit in my perch as president and CEO and a lifelong resident of Kankakee, when I think of that, I think back of the rich tradition of Riverside. It's amazing when you look around this organization, the size, the scope, the magnitude of Riverside. This was started by a handful of volunteers. You know, in my mind, I have this picture of Jim Snyder on the back of a pickup with a megaphone raising money. That's the spirit in which Riverside was created, of volunteers throughout the community going door to door, raising a few bucks here, a few bucks there. Just phenomenal. That spirit continues today. We're a community-based organization. We're a community hospital, and we'll always remain a community hospital, dedicated to the people of this community because the community is dedicated to us. And we need those volunteers. We need that passion in today's environment as much as we did back in the late 50s, early 60s when Riverside first came into being.
Well, Riverside is a growing organization, and it really takes care of its patients and services to the community. Not just Kankakee, but surrounding towns. They have offices where they can serve the entire community. And I think this is important for any organization. And it's growing, and I'm really looking forward to the new growth they're going to have. As I understand, in 2009 there's going to be a new multi-million-dollar addition with new operating rooms, etc. And the Samaritan Society has financed many things for the hospital, such as the smart pumps and the biplane and other patient technologies that are needed. And that's why it's important to become a member of the Samaritan Society. And I would like to say this, I think I told both Phil and Matt and Jamie that were probably many more people more deserving of the Samaritan of the Year award, but I was truly honored to be chosen.
And I believe that she's identified what she can give. So to me, it's extremely satisfying to see Jean achieve this award, and I think she deserves it. I believe that knowing her dedication, that she will be a positive factor in the Riverside expansion.
We are so grateful to all the people who commit themselves and continue to support Riverside. Riverside Medical Center was created by the people of this region, for the people of this region, and we continue to serve 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as well as we can, the healthcare needs of our community.
A Samaritan is one who helps, regardless of the circumstances. Helping is at the base of what Samaritan means. And so we're called Samaritans here tonight because we're helpers, all of us. Jean, as Samaritan of the Year, is a giver of extraordinary proportion.
Jean has been unfailingly committed and loyal to Riverside. I think Riverside's newly stated mission and Jean's mission in her life are in concert. We start our new mission with "Life is a remarkable journey." Jean's life has been a remarkable journey.